Greetings to all of you, and I do welcome you to this broadcast. As you join the broadcast today, please indicate whether you can hear me clearly and whether you can also see me clearly. The quality of this stream has a lot to do with the message that has to be delivered to you or the matters that have to be discussed. So we want to ensure that the quality is fine and that we have no hiccups. So I welcome you, and I do thank you for taking this time, if you do so, to engage on this platform. As you join the broadcast, if you know the idiot, the PPP's bottom feeder, remember Jagdeo said the black people are at the bottom of the social ladder. He was actually speaking to the likes of Cordel Jones, not me, because I was never the bottom of any ladder. Thank you for the clarity, Kevin. I'm so informed. Tag Cordel Jones if he wants to join the broadcast. He can send me a message. He has the ability to do so via Messenger, and I will certainly send him the link for him to come here for us to speak. But I thank you all for being here. And this requires, as I said, us hearing it. You're hearing me very clearly. Please be kind enough to also share the broadcast with others so that they will know that we're here. I am not generally inclined to respond to the likes of Cordell Jones, because once I recognize, as long as I recognize that your role in society is to be a butt licker of the PPP civic, and more so you are an insignificant, unrecognized dishwasher, those individuals do not get my attention. Cordell Jones requires a response from me, not because he deserves my attention, but I just want to show you how, and these are people I refer to as black people. I'm a Hebrew. I'm Hebrew. I'm a descendant of the Hebrew people. But the likes of Cordell Jones, they're what you refer to as black people. Him. I want to show you how destructive the PPP's racist agenda is towards African descendants or Hebrew people. And the black ones are the ones who they find to do their bidding. There is no way, there is absolutely no way or time when Jagdeo, a weak wimp, can ever get me to disregard the fact, and some of you on this broadcast here, and who may be watching via the replay on YouTube, you can attest to the fact that how many times I said even to Jagdeo that you are living in a fact-finding age. It is no longer a case whereby you have to purchase a copy of the newspaper and you have to scroll through it, flip the pages as a matter of fact, to find some article or some quote or some statement. Those days are over. You are now in an age in which a device in your hand, called a smart device, can easily lead you to decades of history, recorded history. I said to these idiots that it makes no sense choosing your most imbecilic, worthless, asinine morons to come to me or to try to prove their worth to you by attacking me. Of all people, I'm telling you this for your well-being. Do not waste your time seeking to challenge anything I say to you when it applies to what happens in this country, because I do not represent a political party. I am not controlled by puppets or puppeteers. So you can't tell me what to say and what I shouldn't say. There's nobody on this planet who can tell me in reference to my societal work and responsibility, that I cannot address any one of y'all. I don't have a seat to lose in Parliament. Nobody can extract my name from a list and say, write a letter to the clerk of the House of Assembly saying I'm no longer a member of Parliament. Nobody can say, like Cordel may have with experience if he ever tries to tell the truth. Now listen, get out of here. Don't come back. Because that's how Jagdeo addresses these black morons. Remember, Jill? Paid to be Minister of Public Works. And at a public forum, an outreach event, Jagdeo move from the man. You're only disturbing people. And Ejil has to tuck his tail between his mangy character legs and go in the corner because he cannot say to Jagdeo, who do you think you're talking to? You don't even have a son you can speak like that. Ejil can't try that. So Cordel and Kevin Lorimer, Kevon, I call him Kevin because that's supposed to be a male name. Kevon. You remember I labeled them as Donkey 1 and Donkey 2 when I spoke to the road issue at Cosarina Drive? Well, that was not enough. So Donkey 1 is back. And while we're at it, you're going to see why I will issue calls in this broadcast for Cordell Jones to present to us his certificates, his qualifications. Because he forgot that he was taught by my mother, and he forgot that his aunt, Sandra Jones, and my father were colleagues who worked together. So I'd ask Cordell to present to us not his entry record into UWIF or any university, but his exit. I'm saying that because what I'm about to present to you confirms that Cordell Jones and Irfan Ali had to sit in the same classroom at Eiffel University. It is impossible for any normal human being to know that I or anybody else can simply tap on their screen or type search whatever topic or content you want to find, and you can access that information within a split second. So I'm going to do what most people in this country, in reference to those who call themselves activists, I don't call myself anything active. I'm just somebody who bears a responsibility to my community and to my people, being Guyanese people. All right. So I'm going to present to you hardcore evidence of how stupid the PPP Civic is in allowing these boys to try to attack me of all people, just to show Jagdeo that they're loyal. But if you want to level some attack of some sort, you can go ahead and do it. But do not attack that which is called content. Once you see someone presenting some bit of information that you're instructed to challenge, to show your worth to the PPP, for heaven's sake, research before you refute. Don't make yourself a public idiot. But I dare say to you that many who support the PPP are intellectual dwarfs. They are just like Irfan Ali. They are academically deficient. So they do not understand the power of being able to research before you refute. Their policy is simple. Just say anything. Just say whatever it takes. And once you say whatever it takes to attack somebody who they believe is against the PPP, perfect. You get a little handout here and there. You do not ever get into the strata or the level of society in which you would find the miscreants, the top tier miscreants, the criminals. You won't get there. They will never allow your black morons to get there. You don't belong there. What you can get is a few handouts and maybe you handle your first $1 million and you feel as if you're so important. If you get that much, and you may get it over time. But you will never be compared to one who's in the top tier. we have to. It is critical for us to understand that in a fact-finding era, you don't go speaking recklessly unless you are just a bona fide idiot, which is what Cordel Jones represents and is. So, as I said, for me, I would play what they say. You get it? I would play what they say on my platform. Give them far more coverage. Oh, the tens of thousands of people who follow me. I would give you that platform. Why you think many other people can't do that? Because for me, I have no fear in what I have to say. And that is what is supposed to be or behove everyone who stands to speak, representing a cause and representing a people. Do not have fear of what you have to say. There's no fear of contradiction when I speak to you. Shalom, Nikki. So let me show you all Cordel's effort to show his worth. Remember, PPP as Congress, he may have a little handout here and there. Maybe he get some cheese sticks or plantain chips for free from somebody and a little box of food from somewhere. Because let's not forget the critic and Jagdeo and others do not have an issue with us being referred to as hungry belly. African descendants. I'm Hebrew, by the way, but just to tell you what it is. Take a look at this. Let's deal with the first matter where Cordel spoke to that I'm a lying apostle. You like this one. This one is good. Because I said that Jagdeo has called repeatedly for there to be boycotts. Remember that Mark Benchop, they said, was wrong for saying that people should boycott Pam and Steve's business after Air Finale went into that business place and was seen in their view. And he was interacting with kitchen staff and so on. And what the Cordel is the view that I was defending Mark Benchop. When I said it publicly that I will never defend anyone, I will not defend Mark Benchop, I defend what is right. This paid or unpaid tramp of the PPP doesn't even understand something so simple. Where I said it, I do not defend Mark Benchop. I defend what is right. And it is Mark Benchop, not constitutional by the country Ghana's law. Not just that. It is his right according to the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. It is his right to speak freely. I also said that it is also within Pam and Steve's right to support and interact with whomever they want. However, if you are interacting with anybody who I consider to be an oppressor of my people, then I have a right to say I don't want anything to do with you. This absolute cesspool worthy latrine, he's not fit for toilet. This latrine worthy idiot would think that I am defending Benchop. You know why he has to say that? Because that is what he has to do based on what his handlers tell him. And what he in some cases they don't, Jagdeo wouldn't even instruct them to do these things. They just believe that if they go and attack and launch an attack against someone who they believe is against the PPP, then they're in Jagdeo's good book. But yet it's one guy, and don't forget that. So take a listen.
The Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, they're upgrading that ground to an international facility, I think to ICC standards, right? Lights, stands, and turf, everything they're putting in. Everything they're putting in. That facility was in a trashy condition all through the APNU AFC's tenure in government, right? They did nothing to upgrade the facility. They did nothing at the Bayrock ground, where they're currently building the track and field and football facility to FIFA standards. And the lying apostle went there to make himself a blasted fool, claiming that Bosai or whoever the mining company was gave the entire ground to the community of Linden. The lying apostle went up Mackenzie Sports Club ground. Thank you, Shakira. Right? Went up the step to show us a plaque. This lying apostle. And honestly, sometimes I want to go into critic mode and cause these people, oh, Jesus. Jesus can't even save him. So he goes up the step to show us a plaque, right? When his camera pans over to the plaque says, this pavilion, you understand me? Pavilion was donated to the people of Linden by both sides. The pavilion, not the ground. Clearly states the pavilion, the lying apostle. And these are men of God. These are men of God. Mark Benchcott claimed that he was a pastor in the jail.
So you referred Cordel Jones saying that the plaque read, that he read, that's why he has to show us his qualifications, as they call it. And I would like to say that I am guaranteeing you that this boy and Irfan had to sit in the same seat or bench at Ifrit University where Irfan got his PhD. Remember Cordell said that the plaque, when I panned the camera over the plaque read that this pavilion was donated to the community by BOSAI. Did you hear him say that? Okay. Just read this to me, please. This pavilion was donated to the Mackenzie Sports Club by Demerara Bauxite Company Limited. It's called Denver. This is the plaque to which Cordell said is referring, that I would have read from this, that he read the plaque, and the plaque clearly states this pavilion was donated to the community of Linden by BOSAI. This is the plaque that Cordell said that he saw and he read from. You tell me that he and Irfan are not classmates, and that he and Irfan didn't graduate together. Look at what I'm telling you, this is not by mistake. This is what the PPP does. This is all they can do. Look at what the plaque on the wall states. They have destroyed the building. Now it's getting better in a minute. This pavilion was donated to the Mackenzie Sports Club. So for there to be a pavilion, there had to be a ground. And somebody had to know the ground was in use, hence they have to have a pavilion at that ground. Cordell, the shallow butt-licking idiot, the PPP's butt-licker, doesn't understand basic reasoning. So Cordell's rationale is, listen, only the pavilion was donated by BOSAI. Do you see BOSAI here? So as I said, it gets better. He doesn't have the ability to reason. As I said, I would love him to show us that he entered certain universities and couldn't complete it. And I could tell you why, because he doesn't have the ability to do research. Now, simply speaking, if the pavilion was donated, as he said, to the community, which it wasn't, it was donated to the Mackenzie Sports Club, but okay, fine, to the community of Linden. How did they? Because his argument is that the ground belongs to the administration, to the government, but the pavilion belongs to the members of the sports club. Now let Donkey Cordell, goggle-eyed idiot, come to show us what has become of the pavilion. Remember I told you this happened? That they're going to say the ground is theirs, the pavilion belongs to us, the members. Have they not destroyed, I showed you on video, totally demolished the pavilion that Cordell said was donated to the people by both sides, without even telling us that they're going to do it, without even saying they intend to do it, without showing us what they're going to do. You see, this is just the beginning of sorrows for this fool, for this moron. Do you see how stupid this boy is? Where are you going to say something like that in a public platform? And look at how simple it is. First, he said the pavilion was donated by BOSAI. It was not donated by BOSAI. And he said this pavilion, not the ground. Further to that, Cordell said the PPP would have upgraded. Let me just play the introduction for you all again. Let me just play the first part of it. I want you to hear what he's saying, so I can speak to this. I want you to hear. Jagdeo, you need to put him to wash the toilets at Freedom House. He mustn't have any other service to do. Banish him to toilet duties.
The Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, they're upgrading that ground to an international facility, I think to ICC standards. Right?
All right. The Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports, he said, they're upgrading the ground to an international facility, quote unquote. I think, said he, to ICC. Do you know what ICC means? International Cricket Council. Did I not tell you all that Irfan Ali posted it publicly that Mackenzie Sports Club is now a cricket stadium? Did I not tell you that? And did they not say, no, football will be played there and all the sports will be played there? Did I not tell you that the PPP has taken this facility and have turned it into a cricket stadium? Look at their little puppet boy here, coming out to sell out his handlers. Jagdeo will beat you so badly when you... I can't wait for this broadcast to end, for Bar to slap you and put you in a corner to sit. And shut up. Don't talk for 2 months. And you... Can you imagine? Cordel has now come forward to say that the ground is now an ICC level cricket stadium. You know what that means? That you cannot have football played and people practicing every day on a cricket pitch for the ICC standard. Secondly, you cannot play anything that damages that field. So you're practicing every day. Thirdly, he said that the facility was not touched, in essence, by the coalition. They just left it. Yet again, goggle-eyed Cordel doesn't have sense. Because this fool is supposed to know that for 23 years, the same Mackenzie Sports Club existed. Apno AFC came into office in 2015. So before that, the people would have been in office from 1992 to 2015. You imbecilic waste of semen and spermatozoa. Fool. The fact that PPP were there for 23 years, what did they do to the sports club? Imagine you can't even be honest and say, and for 23 years, nothing was done for the sports club. Or you could have said for 28 years, nothing was done to the sports club. You could say that. But oh, Cordel, you cannot be so mentally lazy, to quote Amanza Walton this year. You should never be so stupid to say that the Apno AFC did nothing for it for 5 years. What did PPP do for 23 years? Can you tell us, please? So you took the reins to say, oh, this is I'm a lying apostle and this blasted fool, because of course you have to look at if you're launching a scathing attack like Priya's feral blast. You have to appear to be this upset feline. You're just an angry pussycat. So you have to show Jagdeo I could talk to London how I want. And this is the best you can come up with. You're speaking to Apno AFC's neglect of the sports club for 5 years, when for 23 years Kashif and Shanghai, two of your other puppets, 17 plus years, they had access and used the sports club to make millions of dollars. What was done? Cordel, Goggle-Eye, this ground is being upgraded not by the administration. It is a grant from the Chinese government. And yet that's stupid. Imagine we have all this money and they're still begging for money to upgrade sports club. It has not been done by the administration. You say the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports, they're upgrading the ground. When it's a grant that they got, they beg for money. I'm happy that you came forward to testify against your handlers, unbeknownst to them or to you. You have testified to their detriment that A, it is a fact that the Mackenzie Sports Club is no longer a multi-purpose facility. It is now an ICC standard ground. Secondly, you testified to the fact that there's a plaque, although you misrepresented the truth and you call me a lying apostle. The plaque states that the pavilion was donated. Why would there be a pavilion? Can you have a pavilion floating in thin air? Because you didn't hear me ask the question either. Why would there be a pavilion if there's not a ground? And if you are to say the ground belongs to NISIL, but the pavilion belongs to the members, how did they knock down our pavilion? Is that not dictatorship? Is that not discriminatory? Because they can't do it to Everest Cricket Club ground, they cannot do it to Rosal Community Center, they cannot do it to Albion, they cannot do it to anywhere but London. This is the other one. I don't intend to spend all my morning on Cordel.
Lying apostle. And he would sit on programs and tell people about God and righteousness. That's one of my reasons I got so much issues with some of these churches. Because the people who are leading them, you often find them in the worst set of corruption. Now, let me go through this thing. Let me show you how the apostle sat here and tried to mislead Guyanese. And he did with some of them. You understand? The people who sniff in the Kool-Aid, I am sure they believe it, but let me go through it.
When you have got the likes of Jagdeo, who called repeatedly.
Mind you, for some context, so he's talking about Mark Benchcop and the fact that he's a liar apostle, Deshaun, right? So just to give you some context before we start, he is in somewhat defense of Mark Benchcop because he feels Mark Benchcop is receiving a lot of flack for calling on the boycott. So he's trying to perform a contrast here now between Mark calling for a boycott, right? And the vice president calling for a boycott. And I will show you the differences. And as the stupid mayor, Alfred Mentor, would say, apples and flapping oranges. Now let me go to the video. I'm getting upset. Let me calm down.
For the boycotting of businesses who speak against the PPP, like Kaicho News.
Now, first of all, I have never heard the vice president, the general secretary, Dr. Jagdeo, call for the boycotting of any business. Any business. He often laments that he doesn't understand how people continue to buy the Kaicho newspaper because of the misinformation that is printed in there. I do remember that. But again,
so Cordel says that I'm a lying apostle. Because the vice president, you hear it after the address, Jagdeo, the vice president. Doctor of what? Muhammad Irfan Ali is called doctor of what? Present to us what thesis Ali would have presented or defended to earn a doctoral degree. Jagdeo is a doctor of nothing. Jagdeo got what is called an honorary doctorate, which means you have done no intellectual, academic, or scholastic work. People just look at you and say, oh yeah, we could give this one something here. That's what Jagdeo has. Jagdeo is unworthy of presenting a thesis on his own and defending it. Additionally, Live Via Moron is sitting there to say that Jagdeo is a vice president of what? Of where? But he said that, remember, I'm a liar. Lying. It's not like liar in English language. I'm a lying apostle. Then he said, I am defending Benchcop because of the flack that Benchcop is getting for calling for a boycott. When there's a record that I said plainly, I am not defending Mark Benchcop. I will not defend Mark Benchcop. That's a grown man. What I will defend is what is right. So let's see. Remember, Cordel said that I'm a lying apostle. Remember, I'm a lying apostle. I don't need an hour for this. All right. So Cordel said, and I'm laughing because I cannot believe for the life of me that in 2024, according to Pope Gregory's calendar, that there can be people who are so black and stupid just so that they can eat a food from the PPP. I would rather eat out of a dump site than for Jagdeo and these others to make me like what this boy is. You could never get me as a grown man to be that for any sum of money whatsoever. Look at what this fool, your Auntie Sandra must be turning her grave to know that you're so stupid. Look what she produced. Look what she fed. She should have been feeding dogs instead of you. Look at what you are. So you would say that Jagdeo never called for boycott. You never heard him? Oh, you never heard him? Okay. This is good. This is good. Okay. Now you won't see my face. You're just going to see my presenting evidence to you. First one. Remember, Cordel never saw Jagdeo calling for boycott. All right, so look. Press Association, this is from March 2019, Kaiju News. Press Association threatens boycott of Jagdeo. That's his press conferences, of course. Okay. Opposition leader Barra Jagdeo's recent attack on the president of the Ghana Press Association, Nazima Ragubir, has prompted a stern statement from the GRA threatening boycott. Let's see what happened. Okay, look at this. The association said that it views the continued, look at this, the continued attacks as encouraging threats to the lives and livelihoods of media professionals. Let me read for you. The GPA, which is the Ghana Press Association, said that it has been documenting the attacks made by Jagdeo over the last few months. These are consistent with the attacks he made in the past as a sitting head of state. These were and are not limited to referring to journalists as carrion crows and vultures, and as opposition media. Look at this, and singling out of media houses. Okay, let's go to the other part. GPA noted that over the months, Jagdeo has referred to private media outlets as fake news or government-aligned news. He's on record saying that he will call on supporters to boycott one newscast. Let me have more to come. There's more to come. So Donkey Cordel couldn't simply say, before I attack London, let me go and check to ensure that this man can't do what he normally does, which is to just present the fact to the people and make me to be a cesspool or a latrine pit worthy piece of filth. Look how simple this was. Jagdeo never called for boycotts. Well, it gets better. Let's see if Jagdeo ever said anything. So here is Starbucks News. I don't know if you remember this. When the Starbucks News employees used to be protesting. Remember that? This is when Jagdeo was president, by the way. So there's a caption here. Withdrawing ads from Starbucks News in 2006 was wrong. This is interesting. Withdrawing ads from Starbucks News in 2006 was wrong. This is in 2019, somebody's saying this. Guess who said that withdrawing ads, to withdraw ads means you're boycotting someone. You're not giving them business anymore. Let's see who said this. Former President Barra Jagdeo has said that his PPP administration was wrong to withdraw state advertising from Starbucks News in 2006. Wait, so if you withdraw, okay, let's see. Almost 13 years after a 17-month boycott of this newspaper, which began in November 2006, Jagdeo told his weekly press conference that in retrospect, it may be the wrong decision. This is the first time Jagdeo or anyone in his administration has said the boycott was wrong. The boycott was wrong. In response to questions about whether his past actions made him ethically unfit to criticize the current administration, which would be Granger at that time because 2019, administration's use of state media. Jagdeo repeated the defense that government in 2006 chose to advertise only in the private newspaper, which had the highest circulation. It gets better. Jagdeo, Stabrook News, withdrawing ads from Stabrook News in 2006 was wrong. Who said it? Barrett Jagdeo. It's Cordel. Somebody to check Cordel's temperature and ensure that he can breathe, and his pulse. Let's see this one. The withdrawal of state ads by the PPPC administration began just months after the August 6 general elections and followed severe attacks on Stabrook News by Jagdeo. Look at this. And government officials on a variety of issues, including columns that were being carried in the newspaper for leaders of Alliance for Change. Do you see why Jagdeo, his PPP clan, stopped advertisements with Stabrook News? And did I not tell you all that Mark Benchop's radio station, 107.1 FM, does not get a single ad from the PPC? So is that not a boycott? Cordel and Irfan reason on the same level. So they cannot understand that this is boycotting. For them, it has to be Jagdeo saying, boycott Benchop. That's a boycott. But to simply prove, even with the election, the Ethics Commission found that PPP refused to have the advertisements played on certain media houses, and it was flooded by and others. You mean to tell me, Cordel, that you can do something so simple? So as I'm about to leave, because I intend to spend all day behind this fool, but I want to show you the most damning of all. Look at this. Look at this now. Look at this one here. Opposition leader. This one I'll leave on the screen for a bit, so that they can put a pause on proceedings and slap Cordel across his head at PPP headquarters. Opposition leader Barrett Jagdeo has called for the boycott of media that are highly critical of the People's Progressive Party, a call that has been stoutly rejected by the country's two major daily newspapers. Look at this. I'm quoting Jagdeo now, Cordel. Please ensure that our people don't buy newspapers where the sole purpose of the newspaper is to destroy your party, he said, quote unquote. Let me read it again for Irfan who can't read too well, and Cordel who doesn't know to read apparently. Please ensure that, he's pleading now, please ensure that our people do not buy newspapers where the sole purpose of the newspaper is to destroy your party. His call followed claims by Party General Secretary Clement Rohi that reporters of the privately owned Kaicho News and Stabrook News have been instructed to stick to the government's propaganda line. Have I not told you all? Did I not say, and did Cordel not say, that I was speaking to Jagdeo's call to boycott Kaicho News as an example? Is there evidence in the media, repeated, a plethora of evidence, multiplied instances of evidence of Jagdeo and the PPP boycotting people's business? And Mark Benchop's 107.1 FM is a perfect, most recent, and most glaring example. They do not spend a dollar, not even a cent, with Mark Benchop. And Jagdeo is on record according to this publication, of pleading with the people, please don't have our supporters buy newspapers. Just for fun, after you've seen that, just for fun, I'll play this.
Lying apostle. And he would sit on programs and tell people about God and righteousness. That's one of my reasons I got so much issues with some of these churches. Because the people who are leading them, you often find them in the worst set of corruption. Now, let me go through this thing. Let me show you how the apostle sat here and tried to mislead Guyanese. And he did with some of them. You understand? The people who sniffing the Kool-Aid, I am sure they believe it, but let me go through it.
When you have got the likes of Jagdeo, who called repeatedly.
Mind you, for some context, so he's talking about Mark Benchcop and the fact that he's a liar apostle, Deshaun, right? So just to give you some context before we start, he is in somewhat defense of Mark Benchcop because he feels Mark Benchcop is receiving a lot of flack for calling on the boycott. So he's trying to perform a contrast here now between Mark calling for a boycott, right? And the vice president calling for a boycott. I will show you the differences. And as the stupid mayor, Alfred Mentor, would say, apples and flapping oranges. Now let me go to the video. I'm getting upset. Let me calm down.
For the boycotting of businesses who speak against the PPP, like Kaicho News.
Now, first of all, I have never heard the vice president, the general secretary, Dr. Jagdeo, call for the boycotting of any business. Any business. He often laments that he doesn't understand how people continue to buy the Kaicho newspaper because of the misinformation that is printed in there. I do remember that. But again,
all right. Please ensure that our people don't buy newspapers where the sole purpose of the newspaper is to destroy your party. He, Jagdeo, said. What else is there? Why did I waste 43 minutes of my time? Why? Let me calm down. I'm getting upset. You seem to be one. And do you hear who in the previous broadcast clip he said he was going to or thinking of putting a critic or going critic on me, which is Guyanese critic. Look at who his inspiration is. Cordel. My surname given to my foreparent is London, legally. And you can see like him here. I have no Jones in my surname. You are Jones. Which one of us dealt with Kool-Aid? And which one of us, by surname, knows the potency of Kool-Aid, as you put it? The thing is that you're not drinking Kool-Aid from the PPP. It is more than likely that you're drinking something else from what you have to clean. It seems so to me. Because no normal thinking person would be so stupid. As I say again, would be so idiotic. So let's go further. Okay, you with me, Harriet? Can you please show me City Hall? When Hamilton Green was mayor, show us the building called City Hall in Georgetown. And let's see what the PP did to it. Because for 20 plus years, 23 years, they had absolute power over maintaining City Hall. Further, Cordel, how could Jagdeo have the authority to say who should boycott what, but Ben Shop doesn't? I think you wouldn't understand me still, but I'm going to ask you the question for those less mentally lazy people in your party, maybe the midsection dwellers, to understand. How could Jagdeo have the power to say that you must boycott? Please, please, he instructs, ensure that our people do not buy newspapers. Newspapers, where the sole purpose of the newspaper is to destroy your party. And you're speaking to Starbuck News and Kaito News. I said he called for Kaito News to be boycotted. How does Ben Shop not have the right to do so? But Jagdeo can. You are an absolute waste of time. The only grief I have is that I knew your Aunt Sandra. That's the only thing that pains me. And to see what you have become. Sandra was an intellectual. You are an intellectual failure. Look at this donkey of a fool. What are you saying? CTL is always under the control of the PNCR, led by stupid donkey Miranda. Money, taxes have to be paid into CTL for it to function. If the administration doesn't pay the light bill, doesn't pay the rates and taxes, as a matter of fact, and the subventions that go into City Hall and other councils, they will not be able to upkeep their billing. You are too stupid to have the name Miranda attached to you. Or are you a Jones and you're hiding as Miranda Brown? You don't even, that's why I tell about your PPP trolls. Where did Kwame, I think Kwame used to control your account, the last thing they said. I think that's the report they had. Is Kwame who chooses y'all? Is it Kwame who picks y'all out to come and do these things? How could it be sensible for you in 2024 to say something so stupid? Why do you think there's a repeated call, or would have been by mayors in London and Georgetown, that the PPP is starving them for funds? You know that? Well, you don't know what that means. You do not know what that means. You cannot comprehend what that statement means. But in case you do not know, subventions are given to councils. If you don't know what a subvention is, I wouldn't tell you, because you're too stupid to know what it is. You would never have sense to tell me to type this, what you've typed here. No, Cordel Keith is not Sandra's son, it's Sandra's nephew. I'm glad that Sandra didn't push his boy out. At least Miss Jones didn't give birth to this waste. She made no genetic deposit to him, which is why he's so stupid, so daft and useless. His aunt was a manager, an administrator with my father in the bauxite company. This boy is not a product of her loins, of her womb. He may have, in feeding, if he were her child, maybe something would have been transferred to him, but he was just dangling out there in the realm of nothingness and insignificance. And she chose and tried her best to make something of this absolute waste. Look at what you've become. So in your putrid vernacular, you would say that I am a liared apostle, not lying. Only to discover that Jagdeo did say, and even admitted to, and to some extent tried to appear in 2019, since of course it was election period approaching, to be pensive and penitent that it was a bad choice for them to withdraw ads from Starbuck News. That is called boycotting, you dummy. Even Neil Marks, let me show you this last one before I go. That's Neil Marks on the screen right here. The Guyana Press Association says it has noted with concern a recent call by opposition leader Barrett Jagdeo for supporters of the opposition People's Progressive Party to refrain from buying newspapers which do not support the views of the party. That's Neil Marks. And even Neil had to come out and issue a statement. Neil Marks, president of the Guyana Press Association, So that you know Neil is borrowed them boy, according to what he said. And even Neil noted that newspapers again, newspapers again, Jagdeo was calling for supporters to not support them. Boy, your aunt should rise from the dead and kick you down the longest flight of stairs. That would be her best service to you, to rise from the dead, or in some ghost form if you believe in it, and kick you down the longest flight of stairs that can never be found again. Maybe put you at the top of the lighthouse and kick you straight downstairs. Look at how stupid you are. Neil Marks, your boy, is on record for noting with concern Jagdeo's call to boycott newspapers. And you want to jump on bench trap case? I will say it again so that you can have diarrhea. Bench trap has every right to call for boycott of anything, including me. It's his right. Pam and Steve have every right to say, well, don't listen to bench trap, boycott his radio. They could do that too. It's their right. Permit me to close by speaking to this Guyana police group. Let me close with this. There was a statement issued by the Guyana Police Clan. This dunce named Cordel Jones boy. And in that statement, published or posted by Travis Chase, this is what they said. This is after Burna Boy had his way now, had his show. The Guyana Police Force says that it will not be in line. It will not be in line for any concert. Remember, Rick Ross is supposed to come here tonight. This was the guy from Jamaica. They will not be in line for any concerts or other activities during the period 2024, which is May 3rd to the 7th. They're not in line. Burna Boy show was on May 1st. Okay? This right here is the Guyana PPP's force at Burna Boy show. So they will not be in line, which is to be within a particular boundary. So I guess you're not in line, you're outstanding at Burna Boy. You're not in line here. Unforgettable. That's photograph. These are photos published or posted for the unforgettable Burna Boy show. Look. And they won't come to them to do this at Rick Ross. Look. I'm leaving this fit to marinate to show you all one Guyana. May I present you the possibilities as to why this statement was issued? This statement right here? Right there? The possibility exists. But yesterday, so after we started posting screen, they visited the ground and said that everything is in place. But let me tell you what the plans are. All right. The police said Miranda was not in line for Burna Boy show. It is the usual paid police presence for traffic control. So Here we go again, Miranda. Why were they seen there? Is this where they're standing, Miranda Brown? Outside of the stadium? Were they at the side of the road? Where were they? Because he can need to come with some explanation, because you said they're directing traffic. Would they be directing traffic in Linden? If you're not in line, it means you're nowhere within the vicinity. You're not there. So let me say what I was saying to you. If the police were to issue a statement and say, listen, maybe nowhere within the confines of where you operate, where thousands of people may potentially be, it's because, remember it's Skeng? You remember when they had something in National Park and Skeng got banned? How many stink and dirty something before that? Knives, cutlasses, knives, weed, wherever else they found. Remember that? Now, can you imagine if there's a huge issue, some fight or something here in Linden? You know what will happen? The promoters will be banned. Therefore, all black falls back into somebody's hand. You know the plan, right? So, the background is Amazonian Mall. Is it still good? This is Amazonian Mall, Miranda. I'm just giving Miranda Brown some time since Cordel wasted mine. Is this Amazonian Mall we're seeing here? Because it's unforgettable. The unforgettable night at Burna Boy. And they're not in line, but they're right there. And where's the National Stadium in proximity to Amazonian Mall? Because you're trying your best, Miranda. I think that you worth a little more, maybe about $5 more than Cordel. So keep trying. So, as I was saying, the policemen were directing traffic. They weren't in line. They were just directing traffic for Burna Boy show. They weren't in line. Oh, that was not their duty. They were not sent there to direct traffic or to be a part of the proceedings. So as I said, what is most likely to happen if the police announce to you that we're not going to be anywhere? Can you imagine that the Guyana Police Force's responsibility, the mission now, is to be proactive. Now, Miranda, come and sit at the front of the class. You can't learn, but at least you can hear. Miranda, you cannot learn, but at least you can listen. So you get $5 for listening this morning. You wouldn't be able to learn, but you'll be able to listen and look like the PPP trolling donkey that you are. The Guyana Police Force's mission statement, they are expected to be proactive. Do you know what that means? You don't, because you are an Irfan, may have sat in the same class at Ifrit University as well. You cannot be proactive as a police force, as they call themselves, and say to us as residents of a community that there'll be thousands of people from even outside of your town now and your country who will converge in one place. But we are telling the whole world now we would not be inside there. Do you know what you are asking for in this day and age when the proactive group, or the group that should be proactive, is announcing that from this day to this day, you could have the biggest parties, we will be nowhere to be found? Again, that makes sense to Irfan, to Hicken, to Robeson, to Cordel, and to you. By extension, Jagdeo. That's how stupid you people are. You are useless. But the same police were escorting PPP people to Congress. Burbis Road, you check the videos, escorting people to Congress at Arthur Chung Center. And that's not what they with y'all for. Because Arthur Chung Convention Center is now used for parliamentary meeting, which is now deemed the House of Assembly because they left Parliament building in the heart of Georgetown. All right? Now, what do we have? Policemen are at PPP's Congress. PNC holds the Congress at Congress Place. PPP is going to where the House of Assembly, the members of Parliament, meet to discuss matters pertaining to the state and also to legislate. That's the disrespect they have for us, where they can put the flags up there. Miranda, you tell me they met at CARICOM's headquarters. Because I know you're good enough to say that. Miranda will come and type and say, be honest, that is not Arthur Chung. They're meeting at CARICOM's headquarters. Let's see the comment come on the screen now. That's Miranda said that Congress is being held. That's not Miranda, by the way. This is just a PPP troll with the handle Miranda Brown. As I was saying, the Guyana Police Force is supposed to be sorry. So they could go and put a big tent at Parliament building in Georgetown and hold a meeting. Where the mace is placed for there to be sitting of the House of Assembly, they put a tent in the yard and they're meeting right there. Kwame, come get this troll. Or if you're the troll, go find something to do. Let's not forget what surrounds you. So go find something to do. Don't do this today. Let me close with this. The Guyana Police Force are supposed to be proactive. They are supposed to be proactive. If they know that there's going to be likely issues, all right, they're going to say, okay, then let's have this matter dealt with. We have a large crowd. There's a closeout party here. We must be there. We're going to have our uniformed and plainclothes officers there because we must have a presence. These people have the ties. Look at this. The fundamental mandate of the Guyana Police Force is to serve and protect the citizenry. The apparent political posturing will expose the law-abiding citizens attending the show to potential dangerous environment. Exactly. Look at this. The fundamental, oh, that's Errol. I want to find Anthony's. There you are. What is funny, and this is the truth, the day Nigel London show up at Retrieve Ground to hold a crowd while speaking against the PPP, the entire police force will show up in minutes. That's an absolute fact that I was going to speak to. Thank you, Anthony. I was going to speak to that very truth. When I go to stand in front of Sports Club to defend y'all, the police, 3 or 4 of them came. They were in line at Sports Club. Remember that? Tell me to please go. And I said, you know what I said? You have to tell me which law I break before you ask me to move. They were in line at Sports Club. When I stood by the Mackenzie, by the boat landing, as you call it, the ferry landing, to speak against the stupid draconian tyranny called this Fauci vaccine, guess what? You saw the police came. They inquired as to whether I had the permission to use a loudspeaker, and then the one had the nerve to tell me when I went to the station that I can't speak to people across the road without their permission. You're not on me. And I said to you, could never even try that with me. Which is why I went back and began to speak. But do you see that wherever I go to stand, and you'll see it again in the not too distant future, once I go to stand anywhere, you see what happens. But they're not in line they're not in line, they're outstanding when it comes to Burna Boy show. Why were they so specific that from the 3rd of May through the 7th of May, they will not be present at any party? Why would they do that? Why would they be so specific regarding dates? If you don't know, for there to be any black, white, pink, or any other party, the Guyana Police Force must issue permission for them to do that. You can't have gatherings in public, playing loud music without permission from the Guyana Police Force. So they give permission for there to be these public events where thousands upon thousands of people will gather and then say, we will not be there. So y'all have a party, you can cuss all you want, drink what you want, bust each other head up, shoot guns in the air, and we will be nowhere in sight. No, man don't get my attention anymore. You realize me ignoring it. Well, it's it. It's not her or him. It's an it. There will be nowhere in sight. Nowhere. Let that marinate as I leave you. Let it marinate that these people will give permission to host an event. They have to because of the loudspeakers. You have to apply to the Guyana Police Force in Linden, the commander, for permission to host these events. Permission will be granted to you, and then they say, we are nowhere around. Really? Well, I'm telling you, the most likely position in this matter is because they know what will happen, and once it happens, they will ban the promoters, so it goes back in the hand of those who wanted to control all black all along. Do well and chew on that. Good? Chew on that. Remember, you had the real all black, and then you have the all black, and there's an issue as to why should one group try to control this whole thing. Well, you will see why. Lindeners, Guyanese, I don't party. I don't deal with these things, but what I can say to you is this. Be on your guard and be sensible. If you notice any PPP done thugs, because they're the ones who thugs, if you notice there are thugs around you being planted and paid to cause disruption, gather around them and do what you have to do to get them out of there. Don't let them cause your Linden people to suffer economically. There's a plan, I can see it, to ensure that this group never gets another show to be had in Guyana. Mark my word. And then next year, the group who want to control will be in control again. Do not allow them to do this. We must be our security in Linden. We will become our security. Don't get crazy. Don't hurt your own people. Don't hurt your fellow Guyanese. Don't hurt people in the name of getting paid by some disrespectful bunch. Don't be set up. If you notice any person seeking to be a nuisance, and you know they're just going to try and start a fight somewhere so that the whole thing could explode, people around trampling each other and say, see, I didn't have crowd control, so you banned. Move those creatures out. Restrain them for the rest of the week if possible. Do well till we meet again.